Hello, and welcome to Royal Butterfly 994, where thoughtful conversations take flight and royal stories unfold with grace. I'm Donna, and today we are exploring another fascinating royal comparison through two very different biographies and two very different royal journeys. Today, we're going to review Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Two women, two marriages in the same royal family, yet two entirely different experiences inside the monarchy. Through the books Finding Freedom and Kate, the Future Queen, we'll explore how these women entered royal life, how the media portrayed them, how they adapted to royal expectations, and how their stories continue to shape public discussion. This is very timely today because we are witnessing what we're about to speak about happening again, because there's speculation, and let me just say, nothing so far has come as of this recording from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex at all, verifying all of the, I will say, royal speculation and gossip coming out of England about the Duchess, Meghan Sussex, returning to England with her husband, Prince Harry, for the Invictus countdown events. Nothing has come out from their camp. Okay, but you'll see that already the British press pitting these two women against each other already. Some are coming out and saying that this is destructive to the monarchy. I agree, but the monarchy does not seem to see that this destruction of one woman, which they are so eager to participate in, is also the destruction of another. They do not see that when they were demanding that the people of England boo Harry and Meghan, and the British press eagerly talking about how Meghan and Harry should be booed, or if they were actually booed, or when will they be booed, and the terrible things that they've been saying about Duchess of Sussex is a direct reflection of the the Princess of Wales, Catherine, and her children in the carriage during the Trooping of the Colors 2026, that they were being booed loudly, and this frightened the children, and the children didn't understand what was going on, and everyone is saying that William and Kate used the children as shields. The snake is eating its own tail. This is what's happening, in my opinion, to the royal family. But the royal family is so insistent on tearing down Harry and Meghan that they don't see that they're actually tearing down themselves. Now, I want to say that this is not choosing sides. This is not about choosing sides. And that what we're about to do is examine perspective, public image, and the realities behind royal life. So let's settle in and begin. One of the most striking differences between Meghan and Catherine is how differently they entered the royal family. Now, according to Kate, the future queen, Catherine's relationship with Prince William developed slowly and privately over many years. Now, Katie Nicholl describes Catherine as someone who gradually learned royal expectation before marriage. She had years to observe royal life from a distance and understood the pressure that came with it. There was patience, there was preparation, and there was time. Now, other people will tell you that it took so long for Catherine to enter the royal family because William couldn't make up his mind. So, even though the book that Katie Nicholl wrote describes Catherine as patience and someone who had preparation and who had a lot of time, which it took 10 years for William to propose to her, and is saying that he was trying to find someone else to marry, but that he could not, so he married Catherine instead. So there's pushback to what Katie Nicholl is saying. Now, in Finding Freedom presents Meghan's entrance into royal life as incredibly fast-moving and intense. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, met Harry and quickly became part of a global media storm. Now, unlike Catherine, Meghan entered royal life as an American, a divorced woman, a working actress, and someone already accustomed to speaking publicly and independently, and as a mixed-race woman. Now, according to the book, let me go back for a second. The book says all these things, but I added as a mixed-race woman because there's more to Catherine's story as there is more to Meghan's story. Now, according to the book, Meghan faced immediate scrutiny unlike anything she had previously experienced. And this is true, and we see this, and there is so much historical information and proof to this that no one can deny that immediately they were saying she was straight out of Compton. They were talking about her mother. There was comments from one reporter. Of course, these things are in our living memory, where she said that there was one reporter that made a comment about what was coming into the bloodline. Well, of course, these are coded messages. Now, there's another major theme in both books: expectation. See, for Catherine, expectation centered around patience, stability, and discretion. The book portrays Catherine as careful, reserved, and highly aware of royal tradition. She rarely spoke publicly about private matters and maintained a controlled public image for years. One woman in a documentary described her as a perfect mannequin. All she needed was good hair, a nice dress, and that was it. So here again, for every view, there is another view of Catherine. And we see that playing out in front of us. Now, Meghan's story, however, is portrayed very differently. Finding Freedom presents Meghan as someone who entered royal life, hoping to modernize aspects. Oh my God, I can't even say it. Portions of it, okay? So, we know this is true, and here's the thing about that. Everyone was excited about Meghan coming into the royal family to modernize it. We wanted greater openness. We wanted direct communication. We wanted more activism. And we wanted more public, modern approach. We did. We all thought that the royal family had learned their lesson with Princess Diana. I really thought the royals had changed. But according to the book, these differences sometimes created tension within royal structures and media narratives. Diana said the same thing. She called them the men in gray. She talked about how they didn't want anything to change. I remember, now this is my opinion, this is back when Diana first came into the family. You know, we were all young people, right? Younger people, okay? And I remember that apparently, now this is what I understood, she had a particular butler fired. After that butler was fired, that's when everybody really started going against Diana, because they saw that Diana had a lot more influence with Charles. And they did not like her growing influence with Charles. Neither did his little side. I'm sorry. Okay, let me stop. I don't want to go there. Okay. Anyway, this is what I understood. Now, after that, you could see the press really ginning up against Diana. You know what's so funny? All of the people who worked to isolate Charles for their own power structure, now Charles and William, publicly, everyone is saying that they're fighting. So let me not get too far away, but from what I want to focus on, but which is Meghan and Kate. But it's like the royal family is just fighting each other all the time, jockeying for position. This is 2026. This is not the Middle Ages, right? So we shouldn't have this kind of media treatment. This is perhaps one of the most emotionally charged sections of both stories. Because Catherine's media coverage in her early years was intense at times, but Nicholl's book suggests that she adapted by becoming extremely cautious and private. Over time, Catherine cultivated an image of calmness and stability. But also, unfortunately, Catherine has an image of not being able to speak. Unfortunately, today, her nickname is Mumbles. And they actually use closed caption text to translate what it is she's trying to say. Now, Finding Freedom, however, argues that Meghan experienced a level of media hostility that became overwhelming. Well, we know this is true because we saw it. Okay? Constant tabloid criticism, online attacks, invasive headlines, and growing emotional strain. And according to the narrative presented in the book, Meghan often felt unsupported while trying to navigate both public criticism and royal expectations. We all agree with that. It is taking place today in real time because apparently the people in England really, really believe that arrangements have been made between the King, Charles III, and his son. I want to point out his son. And I often have said, can you imagine the nerve of people who claim that Prince Harry shouldn't be allowed to see his own father? These things that they talk about between Harry and Meghan and Charles and William and Kate, they wouldn't even dare have that kind of level of scrutiny in their own families. these people come out and have the nerve to say that William and Harry and Charles shouldn't see each other. And they don't see the damage of saying constantly that William is angry all the time. For some reason, they think that his anger is supposed to be his strength. It isn't. They're destroying the royal family. And one of the most fascinating contrasts in these books is the difference between adapting and transformation. Catherine's story is largely about adapting herself to royal tradition. She appears in Nicholl's biography as someone willing to slowly mold herself into the institution. Her public role evolved gradually and carefully. Meghan's portrayal is different. Finding Freedom suggests that Meghan entered the institution believing certain things could evolve more quickly, like communication, public engagement, charity work, and a relationship between royalty and media. This created a contrast between preserving tradition and modernizing tradition. They were complaining because Meghan was working. But the popularity of Meghan and Harry was frightening for people. There was one gentleman who came out on, they asked him a question. Of course, they buried that interview. And it was at the time when Meghan and Harry was leaving, and the Queen had written, or apparently, someone wrote him notice where the Queen was saying they will always be a part of this family, blah, blah, blah. And they asked him, what do you think of this notice? He said, it tells me that they are afraid of Harry and Meghan. Their work ethic, their popularity. People really, really like Harry and Meghan. Now, the royal family's polls are at an all-time low. It hasn't been that low, they're saying, in decades. Now Charles is bringing back Harry and Meghan. William apparently is upset about that because, in my opinion, for whatever the reason, whether King Charles is keeping William and Catherine from working properly, which might be a possibility, but it doesn't make sense. Why is he bringing back Harry and Meghan if they're going back? Remember, the Sussex family hasn't said a word about going back as one family. Okay, apparently Charles is going to have Harry and Meghan live in a royal property when they go back. We don't know. Okay, but the ideal that hard working people within the royal family who earn their own income, who are not supported by the taxpayer, okay, who have their own source of income, is a threat to people who aren't working for whatever the reason. I don't understand why Harry and Meghan are the threat. So the books reveal something very important. Royal life comes with enormous pressure, but the way each woman handled that pressure differed significantly. Now, Catherine is portrayed as someone with a strong family support system, patience, emotional restraint, and long-term preparation. Now, Nicholl repeatedly emphasizes Catherine's steadiness. However, Meghan is presented through the lens of emotional isolation and rapid change. Finding Freedom discusses the culture shock, the media pressure, royal protocol confusion, and emotional exhaustion. According to the book, Meghan struggled with the lack of freedom and privacy that came with royal life. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Anybody who knows anything, you can suffer from culture shock moving from Atlanta, Georgia to Arizona. moving from Atlanta, Georgia to New York. So imagine the culture shock of moving from America to England full time. Imagine the culture shock of being able to walk out your door whenever you couldn't to being inside of a royal palace. Imagine the shock of media pressure. Imagine the shock of royal protocol confusion. We saw that in the episode of The Crown when they portrayed how Princess Diana was having difficulty with royal protocol, and she was an aristocrat. So, as we delve deeper into this, we can see that a lot of this responsibility should have been on the royals. How come the royal family, even after Diana, even after Margaret, even after Margaret's husband, he couldn't handle the life? Nobody ever talks about that. Snowden couldn't handle the life. He finally left. Plus, he was doing all sorts of things. On the side, we found out that he was not faithful. So this culture shock is something that happens. But Meghan was held to a higher standard than Catherine was held to, in my opinion. Now, perhaps one of the most interesting aspects of this comparison is how differently the public perceived both women. Now, this is what Nicholl is saying. We have to understand something. These royal biographies, the ones that are coming out of the palace, their PR. Now, they say Catherine is often associated with stability, continuality, traditional royal image, diplomacy, and calmness. She is frequently viewed as someone who represents the future structure of the monarchy. But we also know that she's considered as dull, as unimaginative, as unable to speak even the simplest speeches, of being unable to speak without looking at her notes 25 times, as being unprepared. Okay, she is just as much as considered unstable as she is stable. Now, Meghan is often from the PR standard of the royals, considered disruptive. She's often talked about associated with change, independence, openness, and modern conversation around race, media, and mental health. These two women come to symbolize very different ideals about the monarchy itself. Talk about, boy, what history is going to say about this tug of war within the royal family, between two women, between two brothers. Because in my opinion, the people who want power do not want Harry and Meghan there, because this is my opinion right here, okay? Harry and William were supposed to be close together in the monarchy. Harry loves William. I believe that William loves Harry. I believe he was very sad to lose Harry. Okay? I believe that Harry supported William. Now, the media will often say, well, Harry's supposed to be there to support William. But the courtiers don't want Harry and Meghan there, because then they would not have access, as they want, to power. They don't want anyone around William that he may lean upon, that he may trust more, whose opinion he may listen to first, because they want to be the ones that he lean upon, that whose opinion he hears first. They don't want Harry and Meghan to come back. And I believe, this is my opinion once again, that this is why they do everything they can as soon as they even hear about Harry coming back with his wife and his children. They don't want Harry there. Remember, Harry met Meghan. Harry married Meghan. And that this is a lot about Prince Harry too. When they attack Meghan, they attack Harry. You understand? They don't want Prince Harry to come back. Meghan is only a part of the royal family because she married Prince Harry. Right? Prince Harry could have married anybody he wanted to. He chose Meghan. He chose very well. Okay? Now, William chose, for whatever the reason, whether he wanted to or not, he chose Kate because he didn't have to choose Kate. Okay? He could have kept looking. He was awfully comfortable for 10 years with Kate. Okay? And I don't believe people are together unless they are the same. If you call Kate lazy, William is lazy. If you call Kate unstable or mumbles, that is what William is too. Two people cannot be together if they don't have something in common. They party together. And if William's still partying, that means Kate is still partying too. Okay? Now what these biographies reveal and what makes these biographies compelling is not just what they say about Meghan and Catherine, but what they reveal about the monarchy. These books show how differently women entering the royal family are treated, how personality affects public perception, how royal expectations continue to evolve. Neither story is simple. Neither woman's experience can be reduced to headlines alone. And that is why reading the books themselves matter, because books often reveal the nuance that social media discussions miss entirely. Now, let me just give you my final thoughts before we close. I think it's important to remember that these two women entered the same institution, but under very different circumstances. Not only that, one is mixed race and one is not. One relationship developed quietly over nearly a decade. For whatever the reason, Prince William took 10 years to ask Kate to marry. The other unfolded rapidly compared to the 10 years because they had actually been together, Harry and Meghan, for some time. They actually kept their relationship under wraps. Then when they exposed their relationship, it exploded. See, William and Kate's relationship didn't explode because he didn't hide his relationship with Kate. So over time, wherever the explosion was, it wore off. So by the time he married her, well, that was just the culmination. So the unfolding rapidly under global attention that Harry and Meghan had was because their relationship was quiet. They kept that relationship very quiet until they didn't. One woman gradually adapted herself to the monarchy. Now, they're talking about Kate when they say she adapted herself to the monarchy. Now, Meghan appeared to challenge what parts of the monarchy by saying that it needed to evolve. Well, we know that's true. We thought that it had evolved. I thought the monarchy had evolved, as we all did when Meghan entered. Everybody did. We thought that having Meghan come into the monarchy was just it going to the next level. That's what we thought. But we were wrong. And perhaps that is why these two narratives continue to speak to us and to spark so much discussion. Because these books are not simply biographies, they are reflections of changing expectations around royalty, media, womanhood, and public life. And what stands out most is not simply the contrast between Meghan and Catherine, but the reality that royal life remains deeply complicated even in this modern era. And as readers, we are left to consider how much of public perception is shaped by tradition and how much is shaped by narrative. I want to thank you guys for joining me today on Royal Butterfly 994, where we explore royal stories with thoughtfulness, respect, and curiosity. I would love to hear your thoughts. Which perspective in these books stood out to you the most? If you enjoyed today's Royal Book Review, please like, subscribe, and join our Royal Butterfly community where wings take flight. And if you'd like to support Royal Butterfly 994, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/royalbuttee. That's ROYALBUTTEE. Please also share this video with others who enjoy thoughtful royal discussion and with the Sussex Squad. Until next time, thank you for watching Royal Butterfly 994.
How did you propose? When, how, and Kate, what did you say?
It was about 3 weeks ago on a holiday in Kenya. We had a little private time away together with some friends, and I just decided that it was the right time, really. We've been talking about marriage for a while, so it wasn't a massively big surprise, but I took her up somewhere nice in Kenya and proposed.
It's very romantic. There's a true romantic in that.
There is.
And you said yes, obviously.
Of course, yes, yeah.
Thankfully.
And you knew you were going to do this from day one of the holiday, or you waited till the end?
I'd been planning it for a while, but as every guy out there will know, it takes a certain amount of motivation to get yourself going. So I was planning it, and then it just felt really right out in Africa, and it was beautiful at the time, and I had done a little bit of planning to obviously show my romantic side.
Okay, you'd been on holiday a while, so did you see this coming? Was he getting a bit nervous and jumpy?
No, not at all, no, because we were out there with friends and things, so I really didn't expect it at all. I thought he might have sort of maybe thought about it, but no. It was a total shock when it came, and very excited.
And you produced the ring?
Yeah.
There and then?
I did, yeah. I'd been carrying it around with me in my rucksack for about 3 weeks before that, and I literally would not let it go. Everywhere I went, I was keeping hold of it, because I knew this thing, if it disappeared, I'd be in a lot of trouble. And yeah, because I planned it, it went fine. As you know, you'll hear a lot of horror stories about proposing and things going horribly wrong. It went really, really well, and yeah, I was really pleased that she said yes.
And it's a family ring?
It is a family ring, yes. It's my mother's engagement ring. So I thought it was quite nice, because obviously she's not going to be around to share any of the fun and excitement of it all. This was my way of keeping her sort of close to it all.
And I guess we better have a look at it. What kind of ring is it? Are you an expert on what's...
I'm not an expert on it at all. I've been reliably informed it's a sapphire with some diamonds, but I'm sure everyone recognises it from previous times. So.
And Kate, you're going to be in envy of many, I would.
Well, I just hope I look after it.
Yeah. She loses, she's in big trouble.
It's very, very special.
Now, it has to be said, you both look incredibly happy and relaxed.
We are. We're like sort of ducks. It's sort of very calm on the surface, but the little feet going under the water. But no, it's been really exciting. We've been talking about it for a long time. So for us, it's a real relief, and it's really nice to be able to tell everybody, because especially the last 2 or 3 weeks have been quite difficult not telling anyone, keeping it to ourselves for reasons we had to. And it's really nice to finally be able to share it with everyone.
And you obviously have kept it a secret. So when did you ask Kate's dad, and what did he say, and what did your respective parents say when you told them?
Well, I was torn between asking Kate's dad first, and then the realisation that he might actually say no dawned upon me. So I thought, if I ask Kate first, then he can't really say no. So I did that way round, and I managed to speak to Mike sort of soon after it happened, really, and then it sort of happened from there.
Kate, what did your mum say?
Well, I think as any mother would be, she was absolutely over the moon. And actually we had quite an awkward situation, because I knew, and I knew that William had asked my father, but I didn't know if my mother knew. So I came back from Scotland, and my mother made it didn't make it clear to me whether she knew or not. So both of us were there, sort of looking at each other and feeling quite awkward about it. But it was amazing to tell her, and obviously she was very happy for us.
I mean, one of the things that's been clear actually for a long time is you very evidently have a close-knit family, and family is very important to you.
Yeah, no, it's very important to me, and I hope we'll be able to have a happy family ourselves, because it's been they've been great over the years, helping me with difficult times, and we see a lot of each other, and they're very, very dear to me.
People are bound to ask, it's a bit of an obvious question, but children, do you want lots of children? See what comes? What's your...
I think we'll take it one step at a time. We'll sort of get over the marriage thing first, and then maybe look at the kids. But obviously, we want a family, so we'll have to start thinking about that.
Going back to the start, because I think people, as I say, will be very curious about the totality of your relationship. When did you first set eyes on each other, and what did you think?
Well, it's a long time ago now, Tom. I'm trying to rack my brain about it all. But we met at university at St Andrews, and we were friends for over a year first. And it just sort of blossomed from then on. We just spent more time with each other, had a good giggle, had lots of fun, and realised we shared the same interests, and just had a really good time. She's got a really nice sense of humour, which kind of helps me, because I've got a very dirty sense of humour. So it was good fun. We had a really good laugh, and then things happened.
And Kate, what did you think of William? I mean, he's clearly not quite the same as meeting your average, university student. Maybe it was, I don't know. But what was your first impression? Well,
I think when you said, I actually went bright red when I met you, and sort of scuttled off, feeling very shy about meeting you. But and actually William wasn't there for quite a bit of the time initially. He wasn't there for Freshers' Week, and so it did take a bit of time for us to get to know each other. But we did become, very close friends from quite early on.
There's a story that goes the rounds that you had a picture of him on your wall as a child. There
wasn't just one, there was like 10, 20.
He wishes, no. No, I had the Levi's guy on my wall, not a picture of William, sorry.
It was me and Levi's, honestly.
So you ended up sort of in the same flat. Was that, if you don't mind me asking, before you were going out, or?
We moved in together as friends, and then because we were living together, we lived with a couple of others as well, and it sort of blossomed from there. Really, we just saw more of each other, hung out a bit more, and did stuff. So yeah.
You like my cooking?
Well, your cooking was all right. It's got better.
Does William ever cook, or indeed do anything useful around there?
Define useful, Tom.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
No, he does actually. He did cook for me quite a bit at university, and it would always come with a bit of angst and a bit of anger if something had gone wrong, and I'd have to wander in and save something that was going.
So being honest, is that a skill that's declining over time or improving?
I would say I'm getting better at cooking. Kate would say I'm getting a lot worse.
I didn't give you enough chance to practice, though, maybe.
No, that is true. I get quite lazy about cooking, because when I come back from work and stuff, it's the last thing I want to do really, is spend loads of time cooking. But when I was trying to impress Kate, I was trying to cook these amazing fancy dinners, and all that would happen was I'd burn something would overspill, something would catch on fire, and she'd be sitting in the background just trying to help and basically taking control of the whole situation. So I was quite glad she was there at the time.
slightly awkward for the other flatmates, or okay?
No, to be honest, they were perfectly happy with it. They were used to it, watching me sort of catching things fire, and they found it very amusing.
But I mean, having the two of you going out in the flat, or did they just not bat an eyelid?
I think at first they were sort of a bit surprised that it was what happened, and then they realised it was really nice and it was good fun, and we got on really well. They were good friends of ours as well, and so we had a good giggle with them as well.
Now, I suppose a lot of people are going to wonder, the first meeting with the families, again, not necessarily your average meeting. Kate, what was your first impression of the family?
Well, I was quite nervous about meeting William's father, but no, he's very, very welcoming and very friendly. So yeah, it couldn't have gone easier really for me. But
And meeting the grandmother, the Queen, not again like your average meeting with the grandmother. Was that nervous about that too? Or?
Well, I first met her at Peter and Autumn's wedding, and again it was in amongst a lot of other guests, and she was very friendly, and no, it was fine.
She's very welcoming. She knew
Yeah.
it was a big day and everything was going on. Peter and Autumn were there and things, and she wanted to meet Kate and for a while, so it was very nice of her to come over and say hello, and we had a little chat and got on really well.
You're clearly tremendously fond of each other's families, and I'm guessing that is obviously transparently, it's going to be a big part of your life going forward, both your lives.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you know, Kate's family, she's got a very, very close family, and I get on really well with them, and I'm very lucky that they've been so supportive. Mike and Carol have only been, really sort of loving and caring and really fun, and have been really welcoming towards me, so I felt really part of the family, and I hope Kate's felt the same with my family.
People are bound to ask, you leave university, you've been going out a bit, and you split up, famously, all over the papers. What was all that about? I mean, people are bound to want to know.
Well, I think, to be honest, I wouldn't believe everything you read in the paper. But in that particular instance, we did split up for a bit. But that was just, we were both very young. It was at university, and we were sort of both finding ourselves as such and being, different characters and stuff. It was very much trying to find our own way, and we were growing up, and so it was just sort of, a bit of space and a bit of things like that, and it soon worked out for the better.
And I think I at the time wasn't very happy about it, but actually it made me a stronger person. You find out things about yourself that maybe you hadn't realised, or I think you can get quite consumed by a relationship when you're younger, and I really valued that time for me as well, although I didn't think it at the time. Looking back on it,
As a chance to re-centre yourself?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's not all bad.
With that one.
Did you kind of always have at the back of your minds that you wanted to marry each other? Did that come slowly? Did you suddenly decide a couple of weeks ago? I mean, people have assumed you're going to be married for a long time. How did you both come to it in your heads?
Well, from my point of view, when I first met Kate, I knew there was something very special about him, and that I knew that there was possibly something that I wanted to explore there. But we ended up being friends for a while, and that just sort of was a good sort of foundation. Because I do genuinely believe now, especially, that being friends with one another is a massive advantage, and it just went from there. And over the years, I knew things were getting better and better, and we went through a few stumbling blocks, as every relationship does. But we picked ourselves up and carried on, and we, from where you had the odd problem when you were first getting to know each other, those have all gone, and it's just really easy with being with each other, and it's really fun, and I'm obviously extremely funny, and she loves that, so it's really good.
You say so yourself.
Okay, you're obviously upset when you split up, but all your friends, both of your friends, talk about there's a very substantial love that's built up over a very long period of time. That's part friendship and obviously more than that.
Well, I think when you go out with someone for quite a long time, you do get to know each other very, very well. You go through the good times, you go through the bad times, both personally, but also within a relationship as well. And I think if you can come out of that stronger, and learn, as I said, things about yourself, it's certainly been a good how many years?
I lost count.
He did take his time.
3,
it must be said. Did you ever want him to come on?
Well, no, we do. We've had our conversations, but I think it was
We've talked
it was
about it today
yeah.
for a while, haven't we? We've
Yeah.
talked about this happening for a day. So Kate wasn't in the dark over it all. We've been planning it for at least a year, and if not longer. It was just finding the right time, and that was what, as most people say with couples, it's all about timing. And I had my my military career, and I really wanted to concentrate on my flying, and I couldn't have done this if I was still doing my training. So I've got that out of the way, and Kate's in a good place in terms of work and where she wants to be and stuff. And we just both decided now was a really good time.
You're obviously going to enter this family, the most famous, royal family in the world. William's mother was this massive, iconic figure, the most famous figure of our age. Is that worrying? Is that intimidating? Do you think about that a lot, both of you? You particularly, Kate, obviously.
Well, obviously it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So I do.
There's no pressure though, because like Kate said, it's about carving your own future. No one's going to try and no one's trying to fill my mother's shoes, and what she did is fantastic. It's about making your own future and your own destiny, and Kate will do a very good job of that.
This is a life, in the public domain to a degree that you can't escape. You both know that. You're obviously very, you know it better than Kate does. You're obviously very protective of her. Massively
so. Of course, her and her family, I really want to make sure that they have the best sort of guidance and chance to see what life has been like, or what life is like in the family. And that's kind of almost why I have been waiting this long, as I wanted to give her a chance to see and to back out if she needed to, before it all got too much, because I'm trying to learn from lessons done in the past, and I just wanted to give her the best chance to settle in and see what happens the other side.
And I'm also glad that I've had the time to sort of to grow and understand myself more as well. So hopefully,
does that mean I've done
hopefully do a good job? Yes.
Good.
So there's been a conscious. Part of the reason it's taken you this long is that you've both spent a long time contemplating the future, being calm about it, pondering it, thinking about it. Is that right?
It is, yeah. Well, we've talked about it a lot, haven't we? So it's always been something we've had a good chat about, and like we said, both of us would come to the decision, pretty much together. I just chose, when to do it and how to do it, and obviously being a real romantic, I did it extremely well.
Okay, just coming to the close, people have placed some criticisms of you, about your work and so on. Does that hurt? How do you respond to people who say those things?
Well, I think I know I've been working very hard for the family business. Sometimes those days are long days, and I think if I know I'm working hard and I'm pulling my weight, both work and playing hard at the same time, I think everyone who I work with, I think, can see that I'm there pulling my weight, and that's really what matters to me.
And your family, as you've said, you're very close. Does it hurt, some of what's said, or do you let it run off all your collective backs on the grounds that that's just what you have to live with?
Well, again, I think the people around home are very supportive to us, and those are the people that really matter to us, our close friends and close family. And I think if sort of they feel that you're doing the right thing, you can only be sort of true to yourself, and you sort of have to ignore a lot of what's said, obviously take it on board, but you have to be yourself, really, and that's how I've stuck by it, really.
It's a massive thing you're going into now, obviously marriage is a big thing for everyone, but it's, in such a public way. Excited? A little bit terrified?
Massively excited. Quite happy when the interview's over. But no, we're hugely excited, and it's we're looking forward to spending the rest of the times, rest of our lives together, and seeing what the future holds.
And Kate, for you, you've had a long time to sort of contemplate this moment.
Let's not over-egg the long bit.
No, it's obviously nerve-wracking because I don't know what I'm I don't know the ropes really. William was obviously used to it, but no, I'm willing to learn quickly and work hard. And
She'll do really well.
Yeah.
We'll do very well.
A lot of opportunities, obviously, within the family. You know, a huge ability to change people's lives for the better. I guess that's something you must have contemplated as well.
Yes, well, I really hope I can make a difference. You know, even in the smallest way. Yeah, I'm looking forward to helping as much as I can.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. You look, as I said at the start, very relaxed, very happy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we start with the proposal and the actual moment of your engagement? When did it happen? How did it happen?
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage. Just a standard, typical night for us.
It's a cozy night. It was what we're doing, just roasting chicken and
Roasting
having
a chicken, trying to roast a chicken.
trying to roast a chicken, and it was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course.
Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, "Can I say yes now?"
She didn't even let me finish. She said, "Can I say yes? Can I say yes now?" And then there was hugs, and I had the ring in my finger, and I was like, "Can I give you the ring?" And she goes, "Oh yes, the ring." So no, it was a really nice moment. It was just the two of us, and I think I managed to catch her by surprise as well. So.
Yeah.
And this is how long after you first met?
It would be a year and a half,
Yeah.
a little bit more than that.
No, just about a year and a half. Yeah.
Which for most people would be quite a whirlwind. Is that how it's felt to you?
I don't think that I would call it a whirlwind in terms of our relationship. Obviously, there have been layers attached to how public it has become after we had a good 5-6 months almost with just privacy, which was amazing. But no, I think we were able to really have so much time just to connect, and we never went longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other, even though we were obviously doing a long distance relationship. So it's we made it work.
How did you first meet?
Yes, we first met. We were introduced actually by a mutual friend, who
We should protect her privacy and
protect her
not
privacy.
reveal
Yeah.
too much of that.
And but it was literally through her, and then we met once and then twice back to back, 2 dates in London. Last July,
Yes.
beginning of July, and then it was, I think, about 3, maybe 4 weeks later that I managed to persuade her to come and join me in Botswana, and we camped out with each other under the stars, and she came and joined me for 5 days out there, which was absolutely fantastic. So then we were really by ourselves, which was crucial to me to make sure that we had a chance to get to know each other.
Yeah.
But the friend who introduced you, was she trying to set you up?
Yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date,
And,
for sure.
and it's so interesting because we talk about it now, and even then, because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly there's a global interest there, I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, "Well, is he nice?" Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense. And so we went and met for a drink, and then I think very quickly into that we said, "Well, what are we doing tomorrow? We should meet again."
What are we doing tomorrow? Let's meet again. And then it was like, right, diaries. We need to get the diaries out and find out how we're going to make this work, because I was off to Africa for a month. She was working, and we just said, right, where's the gap? And the gap happened to be in the perfect place.
So how much did you, Prince Harry, know about Meghan? Had you seen her on TV?
No, I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me a bit of background. what's going on here? So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before, and I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to really have to up my game. I'm going to sit down and make sure I've got a good chat.
I think for both of us, though, it was really refreshing because, given that I didn't know a lot about him, everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me, and vice versa. So for both of us, it was just a really authentic and organic way to get to know each other.
And was that quite refreshing for you in the way that you've been brought up, with a lot of people knowing a lot about you? Was it refreshing?
Or thinking they know.
Or thinking they know.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it was hugely refreshing to be able to get to know someone who isn't necessarily within your circle, doesn't know much about me, I don't know much about her. So to be able to start almost afresh, right from the beginning, and getting to know each other step by step. And then taking that huge leap of only 2 dates, and then going effectively on holiday together in the middle of nowhere, and sharing a tent together and all that kind of stuff. It was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing to get to know her as quickly as I did.
And starting a long distance relationship, you were working on Suits, so you had, I imagine, a packed filming schedule. You've got lots of commitments of your own. How hard was it to keep things going?
It was, yeah.
It was just a choice, right? I think that very early on, when we realized we were going to commit to each other, that we knew we had to invest the time and the energy and whatever it took to make that happen. And so yes, with the filming schedule, it was not the easiest, because it of course included a lot of travel back and forth, but...
I don't think you've had any idea what time zone you've been on for the last year and a half.
No.
Coming over here 4 days or a week, and then going back, and then straight into filming the next day, 4 a.m. wake-up calls on a Monday,
Yes.
straight into set, and
Right off the plane and straight to set,
yeah,
and just coming
I'm just
back
trying
and
to
doing it again.
trying to stay as close as possible, but on 2 different time zones and 5 hours apart does have its challenges. But we made it work, and now we're here, so we're thrilled.
But in the case of your relationship, unlike for most people, there's this whole layer of what it means to get involved with someone from the royal family. How much of a sense did you have, Meghan, of the enormity of what you were getting into, what it might mean for your life?
I think I can very safely say, as naive as it sounds now, having gone through this learning curve in the past year and a half, I did not have any understanding of just what it would be like. I don't think either of us did that. We both said that, even though we knew that it would be.
Yeah, I tried to warn you as much as possible, but I think both of us were totally surprised by the reaction after the first 5-6 months of what we had to ourselves, of what actually happened from then. So I think you can have as many conversations as you want and try and prepare as much as possible, but we were totally unprepared for what happened after that.
The scrutiny.
Well, all sorts.
Well, I mean, I think also because there's a misconception that because I have worked in the entertainment industry that this would be something I would be familiar with. But even though I'd been on my show for, I guess, 6 years at that point, and working before that, I've never been part of tabloid culture. I've never been in pop culture to that degree, and lived relatively quiet life, even though I focused so much on my job. And so that was a really stark difference out of the gate. But and I think we were just hit so hard at the beginning with a lot of mistruths that I made the choice to not read anything, positive or negative. It just didn't make sense, and instead we focused all of our energies just on nurturing our relationship.
On us, yeah.
On us.
And some of that scrutiny, and you ended up making a very public statement about it, some of that scrutiny was centred around your ethnicity, Meghan. When you realised that, what did you think?
Of course it's disheartening. You know, it's a shame that that is the climate in this world, to focus that much on that, or that would be discriminatory in that sense. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really just proud of who I am and where I come from, and we have never put any focus on that. We've just focused on who we are as a couple. And so when you take all those extra layers away and all of that noise, I think it makes it really easy to just enjoy being together and tune all the rest of that out.
But now that it is all official, Prince Harry, do you have that sense that the combination of the two of you, your different backgrounds, that you together represent something new for the royal family?
I don't know if it's something new. I think it's for me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view. So you know, the fact that I fell in love with Meghan so incredibly quickly was a sort of confirmation to me that everything, all the stars were aligned, everything was just perfect. It was this beautiful woman just sort of literally tripped and fell into my life. I fell into her life, and the fact that I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well, is obviously a huge relief to me, because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it. But no, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are, and we hope to, you know, over time, try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
I am very excited about that, yeah.
And Meghan, given your acting and the profile you had, you'd already been involved in various causes, you've been an ambassador for UN Women. What about this new role? I mean, you're going to have a bigger platform, a bigger voice. What do you want to do with it?
I mean,
Sing.
Can you imagine? No, I'm not a singer. I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me, I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate, I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously. And at the same time, I think in these beginning few months and now being boots on the ground in the UK, I'm excited to just really get to know more about the different communities here, smaller organizations who are working on the same causes that I've always been passionate about under this umbrella. And also being able to go around to the Commonwealth. I think it's just the beginning of a...
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband obviously, but also giving up your
nice.
career.
This is nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up. I just see it as a change.
It's a new challenge. It's a new
chapter, right? And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years. So we were very, very fortunate to be able to have that sort of longevity on a series. And for me, once we hit the 100 episode marker, I thought, you know what, I have ticked this box, and I feel really proud of the work I've done there. And now it's time to, as you said, work as a team with you. Yeah.
But do you have that sense of responsibility, Prince Harry, for what you're asking Meghan to do?
Of course, that sense of responsibility was essentially from day one, or maybe a couple of months in, when I suddenly realised, actually, this is, you know, I know that I'm in love with this girl, and I hope that she's in love with me. But we still had to sit down on the sofa, and I still had to have some pretty, you know, frank conversations with her to say, look, you know, what you're letting yourself in for is, it's a big deal, and it's, you know, it's not easy for anybody. But I know that, you know, at the end of the day, she chooses me, and I choose her. And therefore, you know, whatever we have to tackle together or individually will always be us together as a team. So, I think she's capable.
So nicely said, isn't it?
I don't know. She's capable of anything. And together, as I said, there's a hell of a lot of stuff and work that needs doing. At the moment, for us, it's going to be making sure that our relationship is always put first. But no, look, both of us have passions for wanting to make change for good, and you know, with lots of young people running around the Commonwealth, that's where we're going to spend most of our time, hopefully.
And it was really one of the first things we connected on. It was one of the first things we started talking about when we met, was just the different things that we wanted to do in the world and how passionate we were about seeing change. I think that was that's what got date 2 in the books, probably.
Plenty to talk about.
Children?
Not currently, no. No, of course, you know, I think, you know, one step at a time, and hopefully we'll start a family in the near future.
Have you met each other's families, I imagine?
Yes, his family's been so welcoming, and
You've met quite a few of them, actually.
I have, on both sides of his family, his mom's side as well, which has been really important to me too. But yes, the family has been great, and over the past year and a half, we've just had a really nice time getting to know them and progressively helping me feel a part of not just the institution, but also part of the family, which has been really, really special.
Trying to track them down and make sure that they're around at the same time that she's popping in without telling too many people. And so we've actually done incredibly well to make sure that you've met all the key people.
So does that mean a lot of the time that you've been together in this last year and a half, you've been at home a lot?
Yes. No, we've we had to sort of reverse the whole process, and cozy nights in front of the television, cooking dinner with just the two of us by ourselves in our little cottage, rather than going out for dinner and being seen in public. So we reversed the whole process, which is it's provided different opportunities, and it's made us a hell of a lot closer in a shorter space of time.
That's true.
That's without question. So, if anybody else at home is listening, then maybe slow down on the dates and maybe spend more time at home. But no, it's for us. It's an opportunity to really get to know each other without other people looking or trying to take photos on their phones and all that kind of stuff. With that comes with the job, comes with the role. But where possible,
And we were able to really get to know each other that way. But also then to go and have friends over for dinner, or to go to his family for tea, or any of those sort of things. And even just to take the time to be able to go on long country walks and just talk.
We've been all over the place.
Have you met the Queen?
I have, yes.
A couple of times.
Yeah,
What was
it's
that
true,
like?
a couple of times. It's incredible. I think, to be able to meet her through his lens, not just with his honor and respect for her as the monarch, but the love that he has for her as his grandmother. All of those layers have been so important for me, so that when I met her, I had such a deep understanding and, of course, incredible respect for being able to have that time with her. And we've had she's an incredible woman.
And the corgis took to you straight away.
That's true.
For the last 33 years being barked at. This one walks in absolutely nothing.
Just laying on my feet during tea.
wagging
It was very
tails,
sweet.
And it's just like, oh.
That has to be a good sign. Speaking of dogs, have you brought yours to the UK?
Well, I have 2 dogs that I've had for quite a long time, both my rescue pups, and one is now staying with very close friends, and my other little guy is, he's in the UK. He's been here for a while.
Okay, let's hope he adjusts well.
And I think he's doing just fine.
What was it like introducing Meghan to your father and your brother?
What was it like? It was exciting. I mean, I've been seeing her for a period of time when I literally didn't tell anybody at all, and then William was longing to meet her, and so was Catherine. So, they're being our neighbours. We managed to get that in quite a few times now, and Catherine's been absolutely
Wonderful.
amazing, as is William as well. Fantastic support, and then my father as well. We had a couple of. No, more than that.
We've had
a handful of teas and meetings and all sorts of gatherings over at his place as well. So, no, the family together have been absolutely, solid support, and my grandparents as well have been wonderful throughout this whole process, and they've known for quite some time. So how they haven't told anybody is again a miracle in itself. But no, the whole family have come together and have been a huge amount of support.
They've been amazing.
And Meghan, your parents, do you think, while very happy for you, obviously, do you think they have worried at all about the scale of what you're getting into?
Well, I'm sure at the onset, both my parents and my close friends were concerned, because we got very quickly swept up in a media storm that, as I shared, was not part of my life before that. But they also had never seen me so happy. And I think also once my friends, were able to really meet Harry and my mom, who we've spent a lot of time with, who's so much fun.
Your mum's amazing.
It was just, it was just obvious that no matter what we were being put through, that it was just temporary, and that we were going to be able to get through that. So everyone was really happy with me. He's talked to my dad a few times, hasn't been able to meet him just yet. But it's all been worth every effort.
Yeah, it's been great.
Your ring.
Oh yes.
Tell us about your ring.
The ring is obviously yellow gold, because that's her favourite, and the main stone itself I sourced from Botswana, and the little diamonds either side are from my mother's jewellery collection, to make sure that she's with us on this crazy journey together. And
It's beautiful, and he designed it. It's incredible.
yeah,
Yeah,
and make sure it stays on that finger.
of course.
What does it mean to you, Meghan, to have those stones on your finger that once belonged to Princess Diana?
I think everything about Harry's thoughtfulness and the inclusion of that, and obviously not being able to meet his mom, it's so important to me to to know that she's a part of this with us, and I think in being able to meet his aunts and also to be like Julia and just different people who are so important to his mom, I'm able to in some way know a part of her through them and of course through him, and it's incredibly special. And to be able to have this, which sort of links where you come from, and Botswana, which is important to us, and it's perfect.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
Oh, they'd be thick as thieves, without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So